So I'm from Oakland. Where y'all at, Oakland folks? Hey! I got you right behind me. It's good. I got good backup with me. But I live in Salt Lake City now. Right? It's a good question. Yeah, I'm teaching out there now, but it's become, I guess I've been there over a year. It's become an annual pilgrimage that we make from the Great Salt Lick to the Bay for Litquake. So it's really good to be home and to see y'all. I got a couple poems for you. San Francisco, October 1989. The buttons were the hardest. Baby teeth folded tightly into piano silk and white-knuckled through each loop, a lasso or a noose, chained together like vertebrae suspended. I still bite my nails and unravel at the gums of fabric origami, sun-bleached into pinwheel creases made unbuttoning impossible. When the shaking stopped, the sun still sat starfished on the carpet, and my father's car was still sucking hooched pavement 40 miles out, the bridge wagging its heavy tongue ahead of him in the gasp of the bay, lapping like the moon flag that waves without wind. The snap of its drunk tide split flick-wristed in two the way they cut me from the wedding dress, slit a clean line along the belly buttons of my backwards dress-up, and gutted my body into the bucket of some ambulance along Market, the babysitter's fish tank tipped belly over lip on the linoleum behind them like so many of my stomachs since then. A backdrop of bricks and broken bottles, family heirlooms spinned and flapping quietly in the slick of glass and what looks like water. When all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. He wrote on the back of a postcard and sent only as far as a false bottom in a nightstand drawer. I found it near a photo of us, and under my grandmother's 22, the salutation just another assertion, an X marked neatly next to M. My father never taught me how to halfway. Betweenity merely broadcasts unfinished business. In my memory, he is like his cursive, sharply lined and straight-laced with clarity. There is only one right way to be right. If you are not one thing, you are the other. If asked, he would probably remember the photograph, how she mistook me for his son. He'd comment instead on the way his head is turned toward mine in surprise, say I'd probably made a joke. My hair swept up in a newsboy's cap and both of us wearing the same jaw. His only language a weapon swinging high and hard at my body, flat and ever ready for aim. Anagram for a body wanting to occupy two places at once. 1. Tomorrow the headlines will try to hide it. This night of flashbang and riot gear, the neon vein of the Tribune building standing straight like a 1 among all this 5-0, hazy in tear gas. On the phone, my sister is crying. I took OChem, she shouts, I know what's in this shit. And behind her, our brother's voice, our 3,000 siblings, a human microphone with no need for bullhorn is telling the town what it already knows as nightsticks rain down. The world is watching. The world is watching. The world is watching. 2. Chit-chat in the chemo wing tonight among siblings. 3 voices and 1 a human urn. It's rained 5 nights straight, and she is still crying, shouts, this is bullshit, and bites down on the gas line, head banging, hazy with rage. Tomorrow they'll try my vein like a gill, flay it open, hide a sting stick like hers behind the cipher growing wild underground. The moon is neon. There is a riot and 1,000 miles between my phone and the chanting on the other end, micro flashes of static building. Everyone is crying but still marching. Have you ever felt anything like it? This. Teenage lesbian couple found in Texas park with gunshot wounds to the head. Portland, Texas, June 24th, 2012. It's always the girls, we girls, who mistake our heartbeats for hammers, suffer their pounding when your kindness insists it requires no exchange, and hush their racket when a few rounds with Captain or Jack change your mind, training us like dogs to flinch every time you raise a hand. It's always the girls, we girls, who who wake up with more Adam in our step than Eve, who weave back and forth with intention or wear our hair and lashes long for anyone that is not you, who try pleases, try tears, try Jesus, but still pop up in pairs along Colonial Parkway and in Medford, our bonds made literal and eternal in truck stop restrooms and along the Appalachian Trail. It's always the girls, we girls, who assume we'll outlast your barbed wire boundaries. Our bodies hurtle on the daily, convinced our steel jaws will be found intact when authorities or archaeologists unearth each grave you chose for burying your rage alongside our bodies still intertwined. During the ricochet of the bullet from your taser, for Oscar Grant. See, the serpent rehearses his hisses, kisses his reflection like somebody made him master. But a uniform doesn't make a man, no matter how hard he wishes it would. Still, he dreams his captures, executes them faster, stifling his laughter when asked over dishes by his missus whether he knew he'd chosen wrong. The devil, he looks past her, comes... The devil, he looks past her, comes in all kind of shapes out under this sun, and sometimes they end up on the right side of your gun. During the ricochet of the bullet from your taser, for Johannes Mesley. Look, we have both eaten gravel at the aid of your boot, rooted ourselves in the sureness of asphalt, faulty reason pressed into our necks by your rubber sole, your steel toe. Shoot, call me a prophet. Pop, pop, and lock it like the season for hunting ever closes for coppers. Like I could bag hella loot and be better off than darker shoppers. The white mind commits treason. Between my release and his slaughter, a whole department of plotters infecting the seer. And that's how I know that hell is empty, because all the devils are here. To my student who asked, since when does a bunch of normal people standing around actually change anything? I say, you're right. When I met her as a 7th grader in San Francisco, she was specific about the seat, how she refused to stand. 5th row on the right, bus number 2857, lucky window spot freed up when another passenger moved on back as asked. 18 blocks from that auditorium, the loins tender hold of Gene Compton's cafeteria now sways gentle-hipped in its newest incarnation, a leaning SRO, folks still crowding the curb with coffee and strings of single syllables for those whose badges swagger or stares linger too long. It's true, I think. They are rarely just standing around. The 4 who sat drinking Woolworth's coffee in Greensboro, the 4 million who walked out after Kent State, the 4 days of fists in the air at Gallaudet, the burning scarecrow, the news stations that invested suddenly in closed captioning. How is it possible that you have the entire world at your fingertips and know nothing of the lineage on which Wall Street tents are pitched? How exactly do you think change comes about? We stand. Like the 200,000 that remained in place for 17 minutes of one man's dream, like the planted feet of every human chain outside of every Planned Parenthood, like the rows upon rows of bodies stomping dust in Arizona, a solid wall between the flashing lights and the random bend of the border, like today in Oakland, when a young black man stretched out his hand to a row of white riot shields, every gun tipped with petals. There is a reason we stand in ovation. There is a reason we stand for something. There is a reason we stand up, do not stand back in solidarity, do not cross the picket line. Young man, you have no idea what's coming. Thank you guys.